All right, thought I'd spectate and watch another of the sessions of the Stage 4 IndieVelo Grand Tour. Let's pop in, race. I got 3 minutes left. I got a couple of teammates in there at least, so let's see if I can find them and follow their race. There's been some interesting races so far, so one thing I have to do is find a rider. That's my teammate, see if I can track them down. Because I have to be able to pick one to be able to get to the pin where they are. I think I have. So I've got a minute and 53 seconds to find a rider. I don't have names, so I have to guess a bit. I'm not able to bounce around very easily. Unfortunately, it's a little bit tricky. I hope we get names at some point, so I'd be able to go right to them. Try to find somebody I think is going to pin one. Maybe we can catch Julien. Let's see. I know he's in there. Let's see if I can back up. Oh, there's Mark. That's good. So hopefully they'll both be in pin one. We'll see. Dirt Rider. I usually recognize Julien. That's Mark. Pin 3 a minute ago. Let's go see if I can put my camera on Mark. It's not so straightforward. Okay, let's go with it. I'm pretty sure that's Mark. Let's watch that. Oh, that's interesting. On the upper left, that black and white jersey, I think that is the current Omnium champion jersey. So he must have won the last week. I'm trying to remember who is owning that jersey. If he's in my this pen, we'll find out. A minute 28 seconds, so 1 minute left. There's a neutral zone start in this thing, about halfway down the Velodrome climb. Kind of a pretty easy pace start. Give everybody a running start down the hills. You don't have to sprint through the banner just to get started in a race. Plenty of action to come later. And there's Julien right next to him. So going with Mark. Let's see if they end up in the same pen. Doing different pins as we go. I did pin 3 teammates a minute ago. So this is pin 2. So let's see. We've got Mark. So there's Julien's in pin 1. I've never watched Mark before, so we'll spot him this time. Team Trouble has a couple of teammates. We race with those guys in TTT. Good fellows. You can see some other names pop through here. Somebody might recognize. So there's a mix of bots and humans. Yeah, there he is, Wayne VDB. He's the reigning Omnium champion. So that's what that jersey is about. Each week. And there's Toto. So Toto with the RGT team. He is the host. Did all the work to put this on. Thank you, sir. Great feedback. Everybody's having a great time with it. It's a really interesting format. 6 stages over 5 days. Points competition, GC competitions, age cat. You got a little bit of everything, which actually makes it interesting because it depends on what you're racing for. You want to attack these events differently. So if you're up for time, GC, if that's your goal, you'll want to be in a fast group, work hard, and race hard every time, every event. If you care about the points competition, it's a little different. You race these differently. So we're following the bot. You can see what it's doing, only 200 watts. It's going to speed up a little bit. Everybody's stuck behind it. If you go past, you get braked, as this rider will. Watch what happens. Yep, you'll get braked, shot back a little bit. It's just a way to give everybody a kind of a fair running start rather than drop somebody right out of the gate when everybody sprints at 1,000 watts. But it's getting more popular in a way, which it was intended for the track, but organizers have been using it this way, and actually I've grown to like it. But so there are the flares. That signifies the end of the neutral zone. So you'll see the pacer bot drop off, and everybody gets turned loose right after that. So here we come around the bend. I'll start following the real riders in a second here. Okay, game on. So pacer bot is done. There goes Gordon flying down the hill. So He's got good legs after this is his fourth race in 3 days, but he's still on fire. Good for him. So this is a mix of bots and humans. The next thing on their minds will be that one, I guess it's an orange number 1 there. So that's the first sprint band, the only sprint points available in this race. Sprint 2, or I should say point 2 and point 3 are KOM banners for the polka dot jersey. 1 is for the green jersey. So if you're a sprinter and that's what you care about in these races, this is the whole game, this next sprint up to number 1. So I stopped trying to guess who's human and who is bot in these because there's so many new riders I just don't know. So we're just going to call them riders. This is pretty typical. You get often bots, sometimes riders attacking right off the bat. You can just look how stretched out this thing is already. So it's a field of 50. They are 2.8 kilometers from the first sprint point, and they've already got a gap going with between the peloton and a little breakaway. So let's check this out. G. Santos, that's human. I recognize that name. You can tell by the form of the name also sometimes. Mark Ciega, is my teammate. That's why I joined this one, so I can watch him. I'm going to put a camera on Mark here for a second. Looking sharp in that yellow bike in the 3R kit. Awesome. So he's been doing well in these Pen 2 races. So I think he's got a very good stage race going on. So happy to see him in there. So his group of 9, has a gap of 9 seconds on the peloton now. And group 3, Stouffer, if I see that's a human, must have had some kind of trouble, I'm guessing, technical maybe, something, because he's up at the front and then off the back, so might have had a minor dropout or something to toss him out the back. Hopefully he'll be able to get back on. I'm not actually sure what Mark's ambitions are in this. If you're going for GC time, you're just against your GC rival, which is all time based over the 6 stages. You will be pushing hard here like Santos is. That's all you care about, and hopefully you'll get some partners in your group that feel the same way. You can do a little bit of sharing of the work in the front, be faster. Sprinters right now, they've got 1.6K to the sprint banner, which is the other side of the South Lake here. They're going to sit in, save their energy, and be ready to sprint. So find out who is after what in just a minute. $1.4K to the sprint banner. They've got 14 seconds now on the peloton, this group of 9. So it's mostly humans. There's probably a couple bots in here. We'll see how they race. Bots can also sprint hard for the sprint banner too. So you have to be on your toes. I'm not a sprinter, so what do I know about winning sprint points? Nothing from my experience. New kits, that BRZH kit, that's a new team to me with Benjamin Bernard. Awesome. I like that one. That's very distinctive. It's easy to pick out in the pack. And of course, Wayne right behind him is the reigning Omnium champion, which is a weekly short kind of track style event. And he was the overall winner last week and the defending champion. So I think it's off this week because of this event. So he's got it through next week. All right, 700 meters to the sprint banner. I'm going to go back to watch Mark here, my teammate. I can get my camera on him. 500 meters left. It's downhill. See, if you go too early, it's pretty easy to get swamped by the group coming behind that picks up momentum down this. So I kind of like Mark's position now. I don't know enough about the sprinters with him. 385 meters. Let's see if he's going for it. If he's going for time, he'll just want to stay in the group. He won't really particularly care to win the sprint. But he's going to get good sprint points just because he's in a small group ahead. And he's going forward. He's going to catch up a little bit. Look at that finish. Wow. Well done, Mark. Look at that. Oh, excellent. 48 points, which I think he is in third. So it was 50 points, 49, 48. So that was so close. We'd have to wait for the race results to see what the time was, but I couldn't even tell. I thought he might have had second on that one. So well done. If he's after sprint points, that's his main goal. He's done well. We've got some other, I think, bots behind him. That's where the 81 points came from. So he's got a bot teammate back there somewhere that picked up a few more points. They won't count in the competition. Only the humans count the way Toto's got things going. So, all right, now let's see what happens. They're going to sit up. Now they're only 6, so a couple of them got dropped all the way back to the group behind. So that attack dropped a couple riders. Let's kind of take a look at the helicopter view and see. Yep, there's a rider just back. Henry Perry lost 10 seconds, didn't sprint. A couple riders just behind that. So that's why for me, I just care about time, but I still have to sprint pretty hard just to be able to stay in the contact with the sprint group. I'm not really trying for points when I'm in these stages, so it's not easy. Often you have to sprint and then do a threshold effort just to maintain this incredible fitness, though, to be able to do these points type races. So great for training. So we'll keep an eye on this group of 7. Harry, the guy behind. Let's put the camera on for Harry, which is a tough spot to be, 6 seconds back. Getting no draft whatsoever. He's far enough back, 60 meters back, 39 meters ahead of the group ahead, but he's coming on though. Hopefully he'll be able to close that. Bigger group will be a little faster. Slowed down for the braking corner. Back on the gas. It doesn't look like much, but that's hard to make up. If the group ahead is pushing at all, it's very painful to have to close that down. That's why being very quick to cover and close gaps can really benefit you. You can get back in the protection of that draft. He's being caught up by the group behind of a few riders, including Toto. Here comes Toto. So here is our host. Let's check out Toto. The fellow who, this is all his event. He's going to catch the lead group. Well done, sir. He must be exhausted hosting this event. All 10 sessions a day, these 6 stages. I don't know when he sleeps, but he's done a great job putting this together in a very interesting format that makes, there's something for everybody to race for, which is interesting. He did a good job passing through that and trying to hang on to that bot. Now this is an interesting move from Benjamin. So sometimes if it's a bot ahead, they'll sprint like crazy and then slow down, and you end up burning a match to follow him. But he's in the draft now, heading for the climb. So now they're heading up to the Velodrome climb. There's no points at the top here. There's nothing to fight for per se, but you're looking at position. You'd rather be in a small group with a gap behind you than a big group for the points and the finish and the time ahead. So often you'll look at it and how much energy you have and how much you want to spend to early in the race to make a gap and keep it, and how much you want to spend on trying to be fast. But Benjamin's putting in some effort to go up the climbs. He's not just sitting on there. He's trying to stretch the field out a little more, keep that gap, keep that group small up front. All right. So Dion Stafford is shooting up to the front. Looks like he's going to keep going. That might start to stretch the field too. There's Gordon. We race with Gordon and TTT all the time. Well done. He's in a good spot. This is the group you want to be in. Still early in the race. This climb isn't too steep. It takes about 90 seconds. My teammate Mark is in good shape. He's not interested in being the one to chase down a lot ahead, so he'll let others share the work with him. It gets hard around this turn for me. You start to get tired. You're ready to get on the fly of the Velodrome. You turn this corner and you see more climb coming. This is where I get into trouble sometimes. If I'm going to get dropped, this is usually where I end up getting dropped. They won't hear because they won't have put in a full effort knowing they've got 2 more climbs to come. So this group of 9, with let's say 10 with Dion, they're going to catch him in a second, has a 13-second gap. That's not true. Has an 8-second gap on the group behind the peloton of a larger group. So they may catch. We'll see. If these guys don't work, they'll probably be caught up by the peloton behind. So you have to work. Somebody has to work in a group to keep it fast and to maintain and build a gap. But that's always the game. Let others work, or you're going to do it yourself, and then it'll just beat you on the sprint, just like any other bike race. So they might be chatting to kind of coordinate, see if anybody has the same objectives. If anybody's looking for GC time, you can kind of reach out and offer to do some work on the front. Somebody will help you, and hopefully you'll get a. Okay, there's no point racing for this banner per se. This is just the end of the first lap. We have 2 to go. So we'll watch that gap. So they're split up a little bit there on the top of the peloton. You see, let's look at the helicopter view to see how spread out they are. Yeah, that's surprising. I thought that was coming together, but at the end, the top of the velodrome climb, which they're going right back down now, some gaps opened up. It's pretty hard to make time here, or to gap somebody and keep it, because the braking corners that they're going into now, at least I've never been able to do it. I always put an effort in, then everybody slows, and it's just really hard to break away here until the bottom of the climb. All right, so we're showing the gap closed. The leading group is now 10. Group 2 of 7 riders is 5 seconds behind, so not far. In fact, we can probably even see them if we look back, see how far they are around the corner. These guys are out of sight now, but depends on how hard the group behind wants to work, and how hard who wants to work in this group to stay away. So we're going to go back around the South Lake and then back up the velodrome climb. The next time is more important because that's the first 2 KOM points. So if you're interested in the polka dot jersey, now your race is starting to hot up. All you care about is the sprinter's jersey, really. You got to finish, but your job is done at that first sprint point. So maybe you have a teammate. In fact, let's look at that. Are there any teammates up here? So in this group, ASPR, which I'm not sure that stands for, has 3 riders actually. So that will be interesting to see. I think those might be the only ones. Nope, there's Omni is another rider. And it looks like they've come together. So that group behind has caught. Yeah, here they are. So now we'll see which teams have teammates, which don't. And do those teammates work together? That'll be interesting to watch. It was in the last race I watched. It was a Pen 3 race, and they did. They had 2 teammates that worked well to bridge up, and then 4, and they worked together on the finish, and they did very well. All right, let's see what's going on the front here. All right, that rider's doing a hard effort. You can see the power on the upper left. That's a TT rider working hard on the front to keep things fast. Let's look back at the helicopter view to see if there's any group within sight. Nobody within sight. So this is a group of 17 now. Which is not a bad thing at this point. That probably makes them faster than 2 groups of 15. Dion Stafford makes another push. He's going to head into these little rollers now. Let's see. There's no wind in this one, so you don't have to worry about crosswinds or tailwinds. Is anybody willing to chase? Kind of keeping him at a distance, but they are losing ground. You can see the speeds. You see the gap slowly build unless he slows or they start to push, but it looks like he slowed a little bit. It'll come back together, I think. then they've got a significant gap back to a group of 3 with 20 seconds. That gets very hard for a group of 3 to catch a group of 16 with a 20-second gap on a course like this. So we're probably looking at the select bunch here. I didn't see how many. Hopefully it's all the humans are up here in this one. Again, it's a mix of bots and humans. So 5.5K to go to the next interesting point. That's the KOM banner. First through each of these banners is the one that gets maximum points, 50 for the first rider, and they go down by 1 point each rider after that. There goes an attack. Let's check that out. Henry Perry. I think I recognize it as a bot, but it doesn't matter. You're going to have to chase it just the same anyway. In the results, the bots won't count, but they can definitely make tactically the race interesting, because how you respond to this can matter. If you can catch it, they can make you faster, help you sprint, split the field up, so they're tactically interesting. But in the overall GC points competitions, they won't up here. That's an interesting gap, so let's go back. It looks like no one was willing to do the hard work to chase that one down. Nobody caught it either. Sometimes you get lucky, you can catch one, get a breakaway, and then work with a bot and kind of a little 2-person TTT to stay away. It's actually a lot of fun to do. But that one isn't very good at climbing, so they're smart not to worry too much about it. There goes my teammate Mark. Let's watch him. So they're going to track down that bot. So at this point, you'll often just sit in, kind of get your heart rate down, get some more energy, save it for the climb to come, because that will be a faster climb. People interested in the polka dot jersey will attack that one harder. So you got to be prepared. You don't want to get dropped there. You can see the gap growing to the group behind. Now it's up to 29 seconds. So this group of 17 will stay away. Sometimes you'll see bridges up from behind, but it's far enough along, it's going to be very prohibitive, hard to do for them. So Mark is in a good spot, full draft. You can see that 100% number in the top. That's how I set up my HUD anyway. I care more about draft than watts, which are the default. I'm always seeking out in this kind of situation where I can get the best draft. So that's what I care about most. Mine is set up that way, and it just reflects that. So it's a little bit unusual. Most people have watts cadence heart rate right up front, and that's fine. I just minimize my HUD with information to what I actually use in a race. You can collect everything else after anyway through Strava and intervals.icu. Kind of keep an eye on that gap behind, but it's growing, so I think this is the group we'll have to keep an eye on. It'd be interesting to see if team tactics, there are a couple of ASPR riders in there. If they're human, they could coordinate, be on race radio and coordinate attacks, say. They chose to. There's another attack off the front. See, and these are hard to cover. You risk if you try to cover them all, because you can just burn out, and at this braking corner, watch to see if this one stops attacking after the braking corner. Doing 415 watts now. Here's the braking corner. Hitting braking. He's kept up the pace. I wonder if, again, I've stopped trying to guess if they're human or bot. This may well be a human. I don't know. I don't know him. Didn't break through the corner like a lot of them will, but then now he's backed off to a strong but less pace with that gap. So let's see if we can maintain that. See if anybody else behind is willing to work. Looks like they're kind of matching the pace. Back to helicopter view. A group of 16 behind. A few seconds are letting that one go off the front, keeping it under control. They're up to 44 seconds behind this group, so they're not worried about anything going on behind at this point. So there's definitely some efforts being put in here. Those are strong. Look at their power. Again, this is a Pen 2 race, and they've got riders doing 380, 375 on the front. It's pretty hard to work with that or get out in front of it even if you wanted to. That's a brisk pace. We don't know their size. So it may be a very large rider. It may not be as impressive as it sounds if they're very big. You can see the rider behind that's doing significantly less, but same pace. All right, second velodrome climb. We've got 1.6 kilometer to the first KOM banner, where 50 points will be awarded to the first rider across. So we'll find out pretty quick who is interested. If you're not, if you want just time, you'll just sit in the draft and happy to let others do the work and carry you up best you can anyway. There's something kind of interesting. So no draft for this rider, of course, off the front. The second rider in front gets a few percent draft. There's Santos just out the front. So he gets a 4% draft. That's because you get draft from a rider right behind you. So those two riders are human. So watch the ASPR riders, Santos and Woudestra. They are humans, and they might have another one with a job. So they've got three riders. If they're on race radio, they could coordinate attacks here. All right, 1 kilometer to KOM banner. So that rider that pushed off the front is being swamped. Great TT rider, not so great climber. There's Gordon. Let's see, Yop. If I'm pronouncing that right. Gordon right behind. Let's watch Gordon a little bit. We race with him. ETT all the time. If you're a really good sprinter, sometimes you like to be back in the back. Gordon's getting 8% draft now, but he's also, maybe he likes to push hard and take the front too. So it depends on what kind of rider style you have. So that's an issue. This rider's going off the front. Anybody interested in KOM points has to act on this quick if they want to jump up and follow him. Now's the time. They got 530 meters left if they want to get full 50 points on this one. We don't know whose ambitions to do so. There's a human. He's on Toto's team. He's trying to close that down. It's only 400 meters left. Again, I'm going to watch my teammate Mark. Let's see what he does in this one. I'm not sure if he's keen on the KOM points or not, but we're going to watch him. He did well. He got very close third on the first sprint banner. There he comes, 150 meters left. Well done, Mark. It looks like, yep, he's going to get third on the KOM banner. So we get third on the sprint, third on the first KOM banner, doing well. That's great. Now you can recover, make sure to stay in the group, get his heart rate down, get some energy back in the legs, and be ready for the finish, which will be even fiercer, I think. Let's see if this is an attack here by the RGT rider. He's pushing hard downhill. See if he's trying to actually split the group. If he's able to, and that's pretty hard to do here. Let's take a look at the helicopter view to see what it looks like. So they're definitely spread out. They've lost a couple riders out the back. They were 16 when they went in. They're 9 now. So some of them, mostly bots. Let's see if we lost any humans. Maybe not. Hopefully it just kind of filtered down to the humans made this cut. If they don't sprint, it's very easy for them to get gapped, and with a larger group ahead, then you never see them again. So often. So now it's a group of 10 front, with one rider 8 seconds behind, another 12 seconds behind, and another 5 seconds behind that. So that was definitely a selective climb. That push to the KOM points definitely split some people, some riders off. But with this far, they probably have to work stay ahead. If nobody works, if they let the other guy work, that you might see a couple of them come back. Those were strong TT bots or riders. So it depends on what your goal is and how confident you are. If you're really good on that climb and that sprint, you're perfectly happy to let the group get bigger. If you're a TT rider and struggle on the climb, you probably want to push here to keep the group as small as you can. Better your chances. Or if you're interested in GC time, there's a big attack. Let's watch that. That is a human rider who's clearly going off the front. Either he's interested in time or just wants to go solo to the finish. So that's an impressive attack. Let's see if we can maintain. It's still a ways to go. He's got 6.7 kilometers that velodrome climb to do once more. I like that kit. That's the first time I've seen it. A new rider to me. This stage race has been fantastic at drawing in new people, new riders. So many I don't know, so I stopped guessing if people are bots. Usually during the summer, we kind of knew everybody we were racing with. Sort of 99% of the time knew who was a bot because we knew who was human, but now we've got so many new riders that we're unsure. Looks like the group behind is responding. Maybe he thought he'd get another rider going with. Looks like that wasn't going to happen. Here they come. These, I suspect, might be bots. So if he can catch these, let's see what it looks like behind him as they come up. They might be dragging the whole group with. So at some point you just shut down and try another day. It's worth a try. Sometimes it works, but it takes a big commitment and a lot of effort to go solo, just like a real race. So in this situation, he's got a little bit of a gap. You can sometimes, well, he's already in the draft. So you can see the riders behind are already in draft. So once they're in draft, you might as well pack that in, get in the group, and try again. Let's see what happens here. It's not a real attack. It's just kind of a strong rider pushing. So here's something interesting. So let's watch the draft of the riders behind. Once you get into that 50% range, the rubber band is strong and you get to pretty much make it. It's when you get down to 5-10% draft that it's dangerous, especially in this course with crosswinds. The draft wake is small, so it's very easy to get dropped here if somebody making a real concerted effort can get away. So it was 16 at this point last time. They've dropped 5, 17, I can't remember, 16, but there are 12 now in this front bunch. A group of 5, 11 seconds behind. Doesn't sound like much, but it's going to be hard for them to catch. Let's see what it looks like. Yeah, so they're back there. They're not stretched out. They're kind of in a bunch. The front group is stretched out, which means they're going faster. It's going to be hard for that group 2 to make up ground, even at 12 seconds, but they might. Kind of keep an eye on this bunch. So some riders you haven't seen much yet, so we don't know if they're keeping their powder dry for the finish. Take the win. Maybe they just care about winning a stage race. Maybe they might care about KOM points. Their day may be done because they care about sprint points, or they may be interested in GC time. So it's been interesting because when you're racing these, you don't know what the motivations are of the people racing. And it's all different, which means tactically it makes it interesting. And again, there's Toto, our host. He's doing well. This banner is just, there's no points or anything here. It just signifies how far the riders have left to go. It should say 4.1 kilometers, yes. So along now, you can see the gap growing to 15 seconds. This group of 12 will produce the podium positions for sure. Just don't know who they're going to be. teammate again. I've seen some riders on the velodrome climb. They have really good, like 2-minute power. They can attack at the base, but it's really hard to do because it's draftable. So if you don't break right away the draft, you can't do it because everybody will also just sit on and finish you off at the top. I haven't seen as much lately. Last year, early on, we would see it. These days, it seems like usually they're hard pace. You may lose a couple people who are on the limit, and then it comes down to that last 300-meter sprint. So it's not a climber's climb at all. It's, in fact, the name of it is sprinter's idea of a climb. If you look at it, the route, kind of a tongue-in-cheek name for it, which is pretty funny. Someone like me, it's a climb, but to a proper climber, they definitely don't think of it as that way. Okay, Toto's pushing off the front. So he's got a teammate, so that's interesting. Watch for Jean-Francois. Let's see if maybe they're on race radio or in chat. I can't see that. Maybe they're coordinating tactics. Maybe one will go early, force the others to chase, leaving the other to rest in the draft and attack. Let's see. There's a couple of other teams with a couple of teammates too. So if you're like my teammate Mark, you're on your own. You just have to kind of follow wheels and figure out which one to follow and do the best you can. Team tactics make racing really interesting. We haven't seen much from Santos. I'm curious how he'll do. I don't know the rider. I've seen him quite a bit out at the course, but I don't race with him enough to know style or what he does. So we'll find out. 2.2 kilometers left. They're just about to get back on the climb. All right, now you can see they're kind of happy to sit on that rider, let them keep the pace for now, saving their energy for the climb. We'll find out who the sprinters are, and if anybody tries to go long. If you're a pure sprinter, you just wait for that 300 meters, 200 meters, and go for it then. You know, that gap is to the group behind is only 17 seconds now. So if they have a real strong climber who attacks, it might be possible to catch, but time is running out for them. The pace hasn't been ultra high so far. Now they're back out to 18 seconds. So I think it's too late. It's only 1.5 kilometers left. So all right, here we go. 50 KOM points and stage win are at stake. Picked up the pace a little bit, 291 watts now. Let's see if anybody's willing to push that pace even higher. Looks like not at this point. They're willing to follow that rider. So it doesn't look like anyone's going long. Again, I'm going to get back here on my teammate. Yeah, they're sitting up. Nobody's trying the long attack. You're going to round the corner and you'll see the 1 kilometer flares. We've still got some climbing left. You can see on the lower right, they're only halfway up this climb, but this is about as steep as it got. It was at 4%. Very draftable. So it's very, very hard to really break away solo here in a bunch of near rivals. So. But they haven't dropped anybody either, so I don't know who has the snap in the legs left for this. We'll find out. Yeah, my teammate got third in both the other sprint banners, or the sprint banner first and the KOM at the top. So let's see how he does this one. He's in good form. Toto easing back. I don't know if he's gearing up for an attack or his work is done, maybe. He must be so tired of running this event, I can't imagine. So there goes a push off the front. Let's see who responds. Again, I'm going to stay on Mark for a bit. Looks like they're all picking up the pace. Yeah, they're all picking up. It's only 400 meters. The end of the climb is near. They're getting ready to enter the velodrome. It's only about 250 meters to then. So there goes Mark. Good. That's a great position to be in. 300 meters left. He's off on the front. That may not have been intentional. He may have got there too quick. Let's see when he goes. Here they come. Wow, those are some fast sprinters up there. Great job, Mark. Here they come behind you. You got it. Excellent work. So he got third in all three. So a flat sprint and 2 sprints at the top of a climb. It's harder than it sounds to do a 90-second climb and then a sprint right after is takes some fitness. So fantastic work. Congratulations, Mark. Congratulations to all of you guys. That was a pretty interesting race. Get to see some smart tactics, some team racing, breakaway, and some sprints. So good race tomorrow. It's a stage that people are either loving, waiting for, or absolutely dreading. It's the green stage with a lot of climbing. I can 600-700 meters of climbing in 22 kilometers, something like that. I've been afraid to look. It's my doomsday scenario, but some of the guys will really love it. So, all right, well done, Mark. I'll catch up with you in Discord. Well done, everybody. Thanks.